This is the CitizenLink Report.
If you find our insights helpful, would you support our video efforts? Your gift of $25 or more goes a long ways. Covers the crew, lights, cameras, all that. Just click on Donate. Thanks from all of us. Your partnership with CitizenLink is putting hardworking people into place in key states with the goal of motivating informed voters to get them to the polls. This is the CitizenLink Report. I'm Stuart Shepard along with Brad Miller, who works closely with our association of 38 state-level groups. Hi, Brad.
Hello, Stuart.
Tell us what you've been working on. You've had some long days lately.
Been extremely busy. We have, as you stated, 38 family policy councils that we work with. We've hired so far 35 field directors in 8 key states for this election cycle. And out of those field directors, we've actually made, as of this week, 500,000 phone calls. It's been incredible to see the work that they've accomplished just thus far in the election cycle. And so as we get closer and closer to November, we're going to be identifying and motivating and educating key social conservative voters in each of these target states so that they're better informed when they go to the polls and they can identify the candidates that are most likely to represent their values when they go to Senate, U.S. Senate.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're talking specifically about the Senate here. That's where judicial confirmations happen. It's also the chamber that's been stopping a lot of good conservative, pro-life, pro-family legislation coming out of the House. It hits a dead end or roadblock in the Senate, and that's why that's such a focus for this. Let's talk about those 8 states. Where specifically are you working?
That's right. It's so critical. Just to touch on that real quickly, you know, we're at a 53 to 45 U.S. Senate currently with 2 independent members of the U.S. Senate, and so 53 being the Democrats and 45 being the Republicans. Yeah. And so this election cycle is so critical because there really is a 6 vote swing in the U.S. Senate right now. And so the opportunities exist to actually see conservatives to take the U.S. Senate for the first time in many years, which would be incredible. And so when we think about those target states that we're looking at right now, and I use the word target loosely because that is very sort of a moving target, if you will. But right now we're looking at Iowa, we're looking at Arkansas, Florida, Colorado is a critical state for us, right in our backyard here. And we're looking at Florida. Even though Florida does not have a U.S. Senate seat, we are very anxious to see how we can motivate and educate the electorate there in Florida, North Carolina, Michigan, Iowa, and then West Virginia.
Yeah, and tell us about the work you're doing. You mentioned 500,000 phone calls. What's the goal? What are you sharing with people in those calls?
Well, the important thing for us right now is just identifying who is and is not with us on key social issues. And so we've been able to, through the use of a massive database, identify individual voters who we believe are closest to us on the social issues that are critical to us, you know, life and marriage and religious freedom. And we're just simply calling them now and surveying those individual voters to identify, okay, who actually is with us on these critical issues and how close are they to us on those issues. And then for those who aren't, is there an opportunity to educate them and help them understand the implications of this election? And so that's where we are right now in that critical phase of identifying and educating voters as we move to November.
I think one of the most frustrating things about elections for all of us is we see the ads on television, we might see them in the newspaper, online, and it can be very difficult to figure out just from the ads alone, or even from news reports, where the candidates really stand when it comes to issues such as life, marriage, religious freedom, those sort of things.
And we fight that absolutely every election cycle, right? Because we're talking with folks who are absolutely sick of seeing the ads, and it really serves to demotivate, especially social conservatives, because we hate the thought of these dirty, nasty, mudslinging elections. And so when we look at these ads and we see these ads and the lies and the disinformation and misinformation is communicated, it's very difficult to sort of parse through. And so we serve as that trusted source for many of the social conservative voters out there. to alert them and educate them on the true positions of the candidates. And that's the critical role I think we play, especially when it comes to social conservative voters. And there's millions upon millions of us still working hard and still willing to vote in the upcoming election cycle. The critical thing is to educate our base, if you will, the conservative voters who are socially conservative, on where the candidates stand on those issues. They're not going to get it from the commercials. No. But they're going to get it from us.
And what's fascinating to me is with just a little bit more information from a trusted, reliable source, people then feel like they can make an informed decision when they go to the polls. They can make a choice based on whether it resonates with their own values.
That's absolutely right. And we're finding that day in, day out. As I said, I mean, we've made 500,000 phone calls, and we have as many as 100 phone banks running this week alone. And so each week we will continue to see more and more calls being made to social conservative voters in those critical states.
I want to give you a second just to talk directly to the folks who support CitizenLink and let them know that their support of what we do is supporting this effort that you're working on right now.
Absolutely. We are very thankful for the donors to CitizenLink, to the donors of the Family Policy Councils. I know that many of you that are watching this today are also supporting your local Family Policy Council. You need to know the symbiotic relationship that exists between the two organizations. CitizenLink works hard to support and resource the Family Policy Councils, and in this current effort, we've raised and delivered about $1.8 million to the Family Policy Councils through this project. And that comes directly from the $20, the $50, the $10 gifts that come from our donors to CitizenLink. But then also, the Family Policy Councils are raising their own dollars, their own support to run their organizations at the state level. And that is critical. Without them, we cannot make an impact. Without us, they can't make an impact. And so together, and with your help, we're able to make an exponential impact that is really leveraging off of each other, the strengths of each other, so that we benefit all of you out there. So thank you.
Let me ask you one final question. It's not the usual newsy question.
Sure.
How can we pray for you?
We're working long and hard. We have a lot of folks that are full-time temporary employees of the Family Policy Councils that are working on this project. They're traveling across their state. They're trying to energize volunteers to come in and make phone calls, which is not all that exciting to do, but it's necessary. It's a very significant part of what we do. And so, pray for protection for our field staff. Pray that the Lord will bless the work that we're engaged in, and that we will have a significant impact on this upcoming election. Those three things, we would really covet the prayers of our constituents.
All right. Brad, I appreciate the work you do.
I appreciate you, Stuart. Yeah, thank you.
All right. And thank you for watching. You may always contact us and let us know what you're thinking at mail@citizenlink.com. Do remember to pray for all those folks who are working hard across the country to get people informed about what's happening in this year's election cycle. And remember, stand tall and be heard.